Right, so hello everyone. Welcome to HRF1, first round of the new season. It's here, we're going, it's awesome. I don't know what else to say. Um, and we are, well, as always, not a lot's changed in terms of the rules for hybrid racing. So it is a short qualifying followed by 50% race. We have a full grid, which is just incredible. We were waiting on Fates of Defiance to confirm, so I'm so glad that he can make it. And it's just great news for the start of a new season. And I'm really happy for the likes of the Gooner and Hunter and the drivers that have been here, Whoopi, and the drivers that have been here for a while now. And have stuck through some difficult times for HRF1, but they've come out the other end. We've got a full grid, and I look down that list of drivers, and apart from one or two that I don't know, Mamula, I don't know them. Actually, other than them, I do know everybody, so yeah. So just the one that I don't know. Fantastic field of drivers as well. It's getting like that in all the leagues I'm in, you know. I'm starting to think it's me. It's yeah. Yeah, I've got to big myself up because no one else didn't do it, so I've got to big myself up. Anyway, I just get myself onto the stream. I still need to share it all about. I was a little bit late getting on, so I do apologise. It's all a bit of a rush for me on a Sunday. Kids' races start at 5 o'clock and I'm doing it then right the way through. We finished this about 9, so, you know, it's 4.5 hours straight through, and I promise you, 100% I get it all organised and prepared. But do something like this live, you always get a spanner thrown in the works. Mine was right at the start of the night tonight, and I've realised that Twitch had completely changed the way it works on the Xbox, and I couldn't get it to work properly. So just sharing it about at the moment. I'll just be a moment and then I'll be with you properly. Put it into WAOF1. I'm really pleased to say WAOF1 and HRF1 have formed a really good bond together. It's been fantastic. Kind of my hope for the next season or two between all my leagues is to try and maybe bring all the leagues together a little bit. I'm not talking about a huge merge of leagues, that's not what I'm looking at all. But I'd like to bring the leagues all a little bit closer together. It'd be pretty awesome if we could do some friendlies in the off-season, things like that. That sort of thing. We appear to have lost Mamula from qualifying. Let's get a few things enabled. No, we don't want any of that, do we? There we go. Oh, now okay, it's raining. So, well, that's important. So we're at China here. I actually raced here last night myself, so I have a really good understanding of the track at the moment. Absolutely dominated the race myself until the safety car came out. I won't go into it too much, but yeah, it's a shame. Took the lead on that. Well, qualified second, took the lead right at the start of the race and led all the way through until the safety car came out, sort of in the last third of the race. It's maybe getting laps on the board though, but well, look at Chardinho in P16. Now Chardinho is a very quick driver, guys. So the fact that he's only managed to 142 at the moment is probably a pretty good sign, and he's down on that time. This could be a case that the rain is just too bad, and they're not going to be able to. It might be they're not going to be able to improve at all. And if that's the case, we could potentially be. Well, Lycorius goes into P16 on a 142.2. That's 4 tenths faster than Chardinho, so he needs to. Surely not enough. We can't lose Chardinho in Q1. It's not Q1. It's short qualifying. Sorry, I'll get myself confused here. It's not Q1. I mean, see, I'm so used to if you got a full grid, you do full qualifying. I kind of wish we had now. So ultimately, then this qualifying is going to be almost redundant. So regardless, as it is short qualifying, it does mean that Chardinho is going to start low down the grid, as is Bowden. So well, they're going to have to make their way through the field. Chardinho has already invalidated this lap, so what's going to happen there? And I think we've already got our pole position. So De Gooner is going to take the first pole of the season. Whoopi P2, Valungas 3, Junkie Emperor 4, Massey in 5, Hunter in 6. Well, you have it. And they had to be on their toes. Well, by the time I shared the stream about the different Discord channels and looked up to the screen, it was the rain had gotten too heavy and they couldn't go. Yeah, Whoopi, absolutely, quickest quali ever. It's done, it's gone, it's finished. That is yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be able to improve. I mean, Chardinho's still out there, he wants to try and get up a bit. I think if I was Chardinho personally, I'd just take it on the chin now and say, do you know what, I'll start from the back, and it's going to have to be one of those races where I start from the back and make my way through. Sometimes starting at or near the back can be a little blessing in disguise sometimes. And maybe, just maybe, it'll work out like that for Chardinho. And Twiglet, and Bowden. And Mamulo, well, new driver, and didn't get to see him do a lap. It's King back as well. Some brilliant drivers. I'm so pleased for HRF1 that we've got a grid like this. It's a fantastic field of racers. If they can stick together, get used to each other a bit, that's one of the most key things. As a group, you could end up with a really fantastic league here. Really good. Well, you already have. You already are a fantastic league, but you know what I mean. Anyway. Everybody's still out on track. They're all coming in now. Get a chance between the streams to actually make yourself a coffee, so we're going to do that quickly. Ow. What was that? I broke my thumb. It's got a metal kettle, don't pick it up by the metal bit. It burns. Right. Come on in, guys. Liz Moore and Mr. Indy. Retire, guys. Retire. Evening, Massey. Hey, hope you had a good Christmas New Year. I did indeed. Thank you. Oh, Liz Moore. Yes, yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. I'll try and remember throughout the season this time, and you ain't got to keep telling me every about 3 races. No, I hope you guys had a nice Christmas, New Year, etc. and all that. It's I had a very quiet one, but in a sense, it was nice that it was quiet. So we had a lovely dinner on the day and all that sort of thing. So I cooked. And, well, there's a qualifying then, guys. They have all retired out so that we can move on nice and quickly. It's going to be an early night. And there we go, down through the field. I'm not going to read them out, but well done to De Gooner on taking pole position in the first race of the season. I guess that means he was the most on his toes in the session. But I have to admit, I always get caught out on those where it starts raining, and I'm usually Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'm usually making myself a coffee. I come back and I go, "Oh my god, it's raining." I start from the back. Uh, kids are unwell. No. Of all the times of the year for kids to be unwell, it happens over Christmas. Nightmare. They still enjoy themselves though. Hello, sweetheart. Hello, well, my darling, my love. Waiting for please. Um, well, I'm hoping. Why didn't you, Mr. Whale? Why didn't you sign up for the Sundays then? You've clearly got nothing better to do because you're watching the stream. Or do you work Sundays? Is that it? Aren't you a bouncer or something? Did I hear you say you're a bouncer? Wasn't allowed to do both apparently, so I'm at work. Who works at this time on a Sunday night? Are you actually a bouncer? I've seen pictures of you. You can't be a bouncer. I think Oozers might have told me. Where do you work then? If it's Sunday night, do you work behind the bar? I think Oozers told me you were a bouncer. I can't remember if I'm honest. I think it was Oozers. Oh. I think I did say to him. I think I might have said to him, "What's he a bouncer of? The old ladies' bingo club or something?" Mind you, they can get a bit vicious with their handbags sometimes. So, where they start attacking you with their dabbers, whatever they're called. Yeah, he did tell me you also sit around selling lemonade. He did tell me that, yeah. And I totally believe him. I think that's your day job. And then you go and be a old ladies bingo bouncer at night. Old ladies bingo bouncer. Oh, that's brilliant. Best job ever. Best job ever. Right. I did kind of forget that we do actually take a 5 minute break, but it's fine. It's fun sitting there taking a mick out. Well, you're a bouncer for a lemonade stand, okay? Oh dear. You do have some fun. Um, right. What can I tell you about China? What can I tell you about the possible strategies we might see? Well, honestly, medium to hard, hard to medium, don't matter which way round you do it too much, although personal preference of mine is that I do prefer hard to medium at most tracks. The only problem with that is that it can be ruined sometimes by an early safety car. Um, little secret, little secret. Somebody that may be on the grid tonight did a certain soft to medium strategy around here the other day, and he made it. He made it to the end, and he did pretty well for himself as well. I was actually going to try it myself last night, but unfortunately, our race last night started in intermediate conditions and lasted for a good first 3/4 of the race before it went to dry tyres. So let's take a look then, see who's doing what. But I reckon there's one driver on here. He was definitely on soft tyres. Let's take a look. Tyres. Hards for Daguna, hards for Whoopi, mediums for Volungis, mediums for Junkie, mediums for Massey. Hunter on the sauce. That may or may not have been the person I was referring to. it was the person I was referring to. He won stop the other day, soft to medium here at China, and he actually made it. Um, he was very slow on the last 2 laps on the mediums, by the way. But so he did say that if he did it again, he'd just extend the soft stint out. But I did an extended soft stint in qualifying, and the tyres were absolutely screaming at me for the 2 laps that I extended it by. So we'll see how he gets on. But that, I believe, is the strategy. But it's obviously, again, a safety car would probably switch that around. Bowden and Mamula then both starting down at the back in the Haas, both starting on the soft tyres. Now what I don't know, unless somebody's put it in the chat, what I don't know is if we're expecting rain at any stage of the race. So I have to say, it does look a bit iffy. Now, I know it's a computer game, but you can actually tell, I promise you this, you can tell by the sky. Usually, and it does look a bit dark and dingy, so I'm not saying it will rain, but it could. It's certainly a chance, I would say. I could literally say that at the start of every single race and be right every time. I'm not saying it will rain, but it could. Right again. It didn't rain, I was right. It did rain, I was right. Right, they are forming up on the grid, ready to get going. Lots of disqualifications for missing the grid slots. Maybe that's just a bit of sloppiness from a few of the drivers due to maybe not having as much practice as normal, not enough track time over the festive period. We've got a pretty good view here as the lights are coming on. All lights on. Away they go. Oh, Mamola at the back has jumped the start and picks up a drive-through penalty. I'm sure this isn't the way he envisaged his HRF1 debut going, but we are off and running. Just looking through down the back of the field, and well, it looks to me like everybody's gotten through safely, which is brilliant news. Very easy for a contact to occur around here at the start of a race, so really pleased to see that. Let's just get the details back up. So there we have it. So yeah, so Whoopi leads from Massey now. So Massey up 3 places. Whoopi, as always, quick off the start and gains the 1 place. Daguna's down a couple though, but remember he started on the hard tyres. Junkie where he started, so remind me, yeah, Junkie started on the mediums, so I just wonder, they are the Constructors' Champions, by the way. If you followed HRF1 last year, Daguna and Junkie were in the Ferraris last year and absolutely dominated the Constructors' Championship, and they were first or second in the drivers as well, but slightly different field this year, and I think they're still going to do extremely well in the constructors. So we'll see how they get. We'll see how they go in a way. So Whoopi leads then after the first lap. Hunter now splitting the McLarens. So remember, started on the softs. So I think generally you'd be looking around 6-7 laps on the softs, but if if he is looking to extend that I can't speak now. Extend that soft stint out slightly, then you're going to be looking around that 9, I think, for him pitting. But just be aware, I think. So when I did a little practice run on it myself, and they really began to fall off. But severely. They were more than 3 seconds a lap slower by the end of the stint, and even the game tells you don't do more than 8 laps on them. So we'll see how that goes. Have we got anything else going on? Further down, there's some things occurring here. I think Mamula's been round, unfortunately, in the Haas. Recovers it properly. Always nice to see from a new driver. Recovers it. Oh no, the other Haas. Both Haas drivers. Would you believe it? One after the other. Round, and Bowden recovers it again. I'm just going to the 2 cars ahead of him because got a little bit of a. There we go. That's a bit better. And so, and Ronaldo, he made the move, but he had it done, but just completely missed his braking. Did really well to avoid everyone there, though. So well done, Ronaldo, on that part of it. Into the pits comes Chardinho. So an early stop from them. Right. Chardinho's got a lot of work to do in this race. It's, in a way, it's a shame to see him having to start from the back after that qualifying, because Chardinho, without a doubt, is going to be in with a shout at the championship this season. So he's got that pace. He's got the pace to do it. So it's just a bit of a shame that he's having to start down the back. But maybe all the drivers tend to have a little something like that happens to them, and they got to start from the back, or something occurs. That happens during the season. It happens to everyone. The luck tends to. Usually, the luck tends to level itself out a bit throughout the season, but so hopefully Chardinho looks at it that way. Maybe you could sort of think, well, perhaps that's one of my bad luck moments out the way, as Curtin King has had a little spin, but I don't want to move off of this one, as X11 is up the inside of Face of Defiance. The Face of Defiance goes defensive, tries to hold it around the outside, but X11 holds the move, holds it well, no contact between the 2 drivers. Very well done. Massey sets fastest lap as he moves on into the lead. He has gotten ahead of Whoopi up front. Sorry, I missed that one. But Fatal Defiance has not given up here. Of course, he would have got DRS back down the home straight, and he's taken full advantage of that, and is back in front of X11. So very nicely done indeed. And look at Crisp loitering just on the back of them now. He's seeing this little battle going on, and he's sort of thinking, well, it's allowed him to just edge onto the back of them. Now he is there just in case there's any little scraps to be had. He's right on the back of them. But more importantly for Crisp, of course, it means he can use the DRS off the back of these 2 and sort of use them in a way to drag him around the track a little bit while he just stores up some energy now. And 6-1, I think that's Mamula. It is just a little spin in the first corner. It's not the dream debut that Mamula would have been hoping for, but that's fine. These things do happen. So we're looking at. That was a really. I don't think I've ever had that camera angle before. That was a bit different. And Hunter still getting good effect out of those soft tyres at the start of the race. Moves into P3. Junkie Emperor, our current drivers' champion and very experienced racer, will know absolutely full well there's absolutely no rush for him to try and nick that back. He knows what he's doing, Junkie. He knows full well that these softs are going to die so fast, and he's just got to bide his time. He'll get the DRS, he'll get a move up the straight, he'll get that back, whether it's this lap or the next. So this is lap 5, so those softs are say 6 laps really. After 6 laps they're starting to struggle, as Chardinho sets fastest lap of the race. So what I said is, you know, now he's got some clear air, he's setting fastest laps. He's definitely got the pace to be at the front fighting for podiums every week, rather than Alright, let's just go to... I think I must have pressed down the... Oh no, Daguna's dropped down below... Sorry, I think I must have been daydreaming. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the Red Bull and McLaren, but it's Junkie Emperor now, not Daguna. I missed that. I only assumed Daguna moved out of the way and let Junkie through, because Junkie's on the mediums. Daguna's on the hards. Daguna is coming under pressure from Volungus now. Two battles going on here right at the same time. Junkie Emperor looks around the outside. We then have the inside. Turn 2 and turn 3. And then it's going to be a drag race. There's a gentle right-hander here. So Hunter leaves plenty of room on his outside. So again, as I said, they've completed 5 laps. They're on the 6th. Those softs will begin to start screaming at Hunter after this lap. 6 is fine. Anything over 6 is where they start to cry, basically. Daguna also managed to hold off Volungus in that battle there. So I'm sticking with this at the moment because it is a really close fight at the moment between all of them. So it looks like Mamula's just had another little spin. He's left the session. Please don't leave the session, Mamula. In the main menu, I'll invite him back. So, something's happened. While I was doing the invitation there from Mamula, something's happened to Junkie Emperor and he finds himself down in 11th place. Also, Volungus has gotten ahead of Daguna. It's all occurring just as I was sending an invite out. Was that a contact between Hunter and Junkie, or was that just a spin maybe from Junkie? There was plenty of corners around China where it is very much possible a driver would just spin themselves. Particularly when you're following another car, it's you get the reduced grip when you're in the dirty air of another car, and it can be yes, they do actually have that in the game. You do feel the difference. It's definitely a lot easier to lose the back end when you're following another car. So, yeah, I'm just sticking here because there's so much action going on, but there is other little battles going on. Fates of Defiance. So, X11 did manage to get back past Fates of Defiance, but Fates was very much still with him, within the weather second still. And Crisp, as we mentioned earlier on the back of them. But Lismore as well has also managed to catch up to them and is around the back of them. Of course, they're all at one place because Junkie's dropped down. Bowden, you remember earlier on, we said that the two halves seem to both spin one after the other, and Bowden's recovered up to P12 so far. I shared the track with Bowden for one race, and actually I have to say he's got a decent pace about him. So, yeah, and we'll have to see how he gets on when he does get the laps in qualifying. But we're only on lap 8 of this race, so some of these guys that started further down are doing really well. What was that then? Did I spot something? No. Giardino has made up a lot of time, so see, he's made a stop. He's on the hard tyres now. Whether he can take those to the end, having stopped so early, I'm really not sure. At China, it is notoriously really quite a high wear track around here, so I'm not entirely convinced he'll be able to take the tyres to the end. But we'll see how he gets on. Yeah, Whoopi and Gunnar. Well, that is going to be some team there. I think if you heard earlier on that, I did say I'm really, really happy for HRF1 that they've managed to get a grid like this. A grid here of 20 really good drivers. Mamula's having his struggles at the moment in his first race, so you know I'm sure he'll be fine moving forward. But still on the lead lap at the moment. But and it looks, oh no, the Haas. I was about to say I think something's gone wrong with the other Haas again, but he's actually into the pits. He's Bowden. So. Now then, Volungus is on the back of Hunter. Just going to go back to tyres a second. Right, as I said, when I did my practice... Now, okay, tyres do last a little bit longer in race trim than they do in practice, but because the track's better to race on. So, this was the point where they were screaming at me, quite literally. They were just... We cannot do any more. So, and if you look at the group behind him, I think he is really holding them up now, quite honestly. So, I'd expect him in the end of this lap. He pitted, if I remember rightly, the other day he pitted lap 7, and we're lap 9 this time, and he did say a couple more laps he would have liked to have done. The spinner there, by the way, was Mamula. Unfortunately, then is a lap down. I wonder if Mamula is... maybe got the wrong tyre pressures on. That's the something. Yeah, into the pits comes Hunter then. So he'll be... I'm genuinely expecting him to go to the mediums. And he's going to go to the end of the race. Yeah, yellow rimmed medium tyres, and yeah, I promise you he's going to the end of the race. So the other night he pitted lap 7 and went to the end of the race on a set of mediums, so he can do it. But I will also tell you that somebody else drove the other night, and they did less laps on the mediums than Hunter did to make it to the end of the race, and they got a puncture. So it is possible to take him to the end, but it's also possible that you could end up with a puncture. It's one of those. But I know Hunter is one of the drivers that I think it was partly to do with last year's... Sorry, let's just concentrate on this a second. As Lungus and Chip Van very much side by side. Oh, what's happened there? Is that a bit of lag? Yeah, I think it was a bit of lag on my side. So, yeah, Lungus and Chip Van were fighting. They've changed now. They are back running normally. Yeah, I've totally forgotten what I was saying before that anyway. It's, KK has left the session. KK being Carton King, by the way, so back. Hey, these two Ferraris and the Aston fighting away at it, aren't they? Doing very well. Meanwhile, Chris managed to get ahead of Fatal. Who's that? Earth, what's going on there? Was that Carton King? Oh dear. Oh dear. Something's happened to Carton King. Oh, that is an absolute nightmare. Oh, KK, I'm so sorry that's happened to you, man. I've just gone on board with the guy who's coming up to you now. Car is totally stuck. It's ghosted. It's got a full safety car, and I can only assume it's to do with that car. we may have a problem. Because KK's car is not retired, it's saying it's in the pits. And this is a glitch, and if it's KK's car that's brought out the safety car, guys, this safety car may not come back in. Right, trying to see who's looking at that. It's a bit irritating. So they can see him there. Alright guys, sorry, I'm just messaging in the chat because, as I say, with that car stuck there, I don't know that this safety car is going to come in. We could be stuck behind this safety car to the end of the race, and that's obviously no good. Hopefully that won't be the case. I guess we'll know after. Yeah, I guess we'll find out after sort of three or four laps, but well, you still watching? What do you think? What's... I think we might have had it on this race because I don't... The problem is the game still thinks he's in the pit lane. See, it says he's in the pits. So I don't think that this safety car will clear. It's not going to clear his car. Who's had an instant under safety car? Crisp, was it you? That car's going to scare the shit out of everybody every time they come round to that corner. Mr. Gunner picks up a drive-through penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I really do think we've had it, guys. I don't think this is going to go right. The yellow flags have disappeared. Right, safety car is coming in. Safety car is coming in. It's driven off. It's going to come into the pits. But I wouldn't be too shocked to see another one come out pretty quickly. I'm just not 100% sure what else to do. I'm not sure. I'm not an admin in this league, so it's not as if I can make a call. I may be best placed to make a call as commentator, but I'm not an admin, so I can't make a call here, guys. It'd have to be an admin that does it. So as Massey goes then, Whoopi follows with Hunter just behind that. So that car is very much still there. Curtin King's car is still there, and it's still doing the same thing. I'm just not convinced that we're not going to get another safety car here. Oh! Oh my word, that's a little far back from Whoopi there. Oh, bit of contact there between the two. Still going. It's only it was a tiny little wheel bang, it's nothing. So, Whoopi takes the lead of the race. He's gone to the medium tyres. Massey's gone to the hards. Whoopi. Just trying to think, was he in the race yet? He might have been in that race the other night, you know, where Hunter used the mediums and went really long. So, as Junkie Emperor gets 5 seconds, there's all sorts happening now, guys. Junkie's not got a front wing anymore. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, what's happened here with this car, I think it's ruining it's ruining the race a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Look at it. Oh my goodness me. It's caused problems. Gunnar is in, taking his drive-through penalty. Well, so far, all we can do, guys, is carry on. It's not brought out another safety car yet, so that's one thing. It's what's going on there? You've got 2 drivers fighting each other into the pits. So I have seen this happen before a couple of times, but never here at China. I've seen it at Abu Dhabi, and I've seen it once at Spa as well. The Spa one was incredible because it was right on the entrance to Eau Rouge. And it was in qualifying, and everybody was, oh my goodness me. I think we lost like 4 or 5 drivers that tried to avoid the cars, they didn't know what was happening. So, Whoopi continues on. There's all sorts of gaps happening now since the safety car come in. Lismore's pretty close to the back of Crisp, and Fatal is close to the back of Mr. Indy, which is a name I'm happy to see again. Mr. Indy, nice to see you on track again. Whoopi sets fastest lap. Massey, of course, will just be looking to, if he could, he just needs to stay in striking range at the moment of Whoopi, doesn't he? He doesn't. He knows right now Whoopi's got a distinct advantage in terms of tyres, but that will swing back his way later in the race. As Fatal Defiance has apparently joined. I didn't know he left. Oh, he's joined, and the AI's pitted him. I think the AI's just pitted Fatal Defiance to soft tyres. Oh my goodness me, what is happening? Well, this is just one of those. I'm afraid it's one of those where the EA servers have managed to change what was a really good race, and it's just turned it on its head completely and utterly, and is ruining it. Quite frankly, it's ruining the race. It's just such a shame. I said a moment ago that Massey just needs to stay within sort of striking range of Whoopi. I'm not sure what that striking range would be. He certainly needs to keep it under 5 seconds, and I think maybe he needs to keep it a bit lower than that. But right now, all Whoopi can do is just keep looking to extend the lead. He will know as well that at some point later on, Massey's going to be able to come back at him somewhat. So it's very much. Whoa, that hurts. Whoopi's picked up 3 seconds. That may have just handed victory to Massey in the long run. We'll see. We'll see. It changes things so much for Massey that he now no longer has to get past Whoopi when he catches him. He just has to stay within the gap. So he's close to falling out of that gap right now, but we kind of expect that at the moment. And then we expect him to come back later on. So I'm just going to move slightly to these guys. So this is the Gooner at the moment getting past Twiglet for a P12, and he's going to be straight onto Twiglet's teammate, who's Lycorius. Setting up a move now. Lycorius doesn't have DRS, so sure. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure if Daguna particularly wants to make a move on that part of the track. He gets DRS, the activation's here, so you come around. And obviously, he'll have DRS up straight. Take a look at this. He picked up a bit of tow already. Not using his energy. He feels DRS is going to be enough, and he's absolutely right. So, we'll have the inside of the corner. Awkward here. It's actually Twiglet, the car that's directly behind him. Like, Corius has lost a position to his teammate as well. So he's lost 2 places there. Now, Daguna just needs to consolidate this by fighting off Twiglet up into turn 1. And he reaches turn 1 first. So that should be enough. That should mean now that Daguna has that position. P11. Just bear in mind with HRF1, everybody who finishes the race will score points. So it is important when, you know, it's very important in fact, when you're not having your best race, or when things have just gone wrong for you, like they have with Daguna and the rather unfair by the sounds of it, drive-through penalty, as Lismore's had a spin. You know, it's important to still make sure you finish these races and pick up what points you can, because later in the season, those points are going to be so valuable. It's part of the reason I much prefer the everybody scores system. Nothing infuriates me more in a race when people who give up basically on scoring points in the top 10, say it's a top 10 league, they've given up on the idea they're going to score points today, so they just retire out in the pits. Nothing frustrates me more as a commentator. But with this sort of thing, everybody can still fight. So Gunnar then just getting after Lismore, but since the spin, Lismore's back up to speed. Lismore runs out wide in turn 1. The Gunnar sees that as an invitation, and to be fair to Lismore, he leaves plenty of room on the inside and doesn't fight it too much really. The gap now between Whoopi and Massey, 3.5 seconds. So entirely sure when to expect a switch over in tyres, but I think Massey's going to have a fair few laps. I don't think it's going to be sort of 2 laps that he gets right at the end to try and take the time off of Whoopi. I think he's going to have a fair few. I'm not saying that the mediums will have dropped right off for Whoopi by then, but what I am saying is that the hards will become the superior tyre with a fair few laps to go of this race. So as Mamula unfortunately is disqualified from the session. Well, what a shame, Mamula, in the first race. What a shame for you. Seems to be having some trouble through the race, so I don't know if you're having trouble with your tyre temperatures and PSI. Something that if it's something you're not sure on what your PSI should be, Mamula, just ask. Please, just you can message me if you like and ask. You can take my setups if you like. I don't mind. No issue at all. There's no secrecy to them. Well, quite frankly, if you don't know what to set your PSI to, just stick it all the way over to the left on all the tyres. Just stick it all the way to the left if you're not sure what to do. At least that way they won't overheat and you won't spin. So as soon as your tyres start in at 100 degrees, just over 100 degrees, you spin out so fast on this game. So I'd actually say that probably in this game, actually, the little things like tyre temperature is probably the biggest one, but little things like that I do think they make a lot more difference on this year's game than they have done in the past. I'm just going to nip back to the Gooner. He's don't look like he's quite got enough of a run. He's not really picking up the toe here. He looks to be right behind. Completely ran out of energy. That actually looks to me like maybe he's coming up against a driver now that's maybe set up with a lower wing, and he could find it rather difficult to get past. This Chardino mix-up place on Lismore, and he's now up into 11, and he will go after, if he can, at the moment, he'll be going after the Gooner, who is really close to Mr. ND. These guys used to fight each other in Arc. Going back a bit. That guy's still there. Oh my goodness me. What is happening? Sorry, let's go have a look at Twiglet. He's now the car on the back of Lismore. And just having another quick look up at the top there, and the gap is now 5 seconds. So, in danger territory now for Massey, I think. It's now becoming quite a gap. He's got to get down 2 seconds at the moment. He'd have to take off for that. Whoopi's tyres have now become 10 laps old. He's still got more in them yet. As I said, Hunter will get to the end on his, as long as they don't blow up, then he'll get to the end. But they're going to be really slow by the end. I may have overstated when I said Massey's going to have quite a few laps. You may not get that many, quite honestly. About 10 laps ago, KK set the record for the longest pit stop of all time. The longest pit stop of all time that he's taken at turn... whatever turn it is, I don't know. Turn 3 or 4 or whatever it is. X11 still on the hunt, and he's just gotten past Hunter for P3, so... But he does have a penalty, so... We won't take a look at the penalties just yet, but around about lap 25, I'll switch over to the penalties so we can see. I call in all, so Mr. ND, I think. A little moment. Yeah, it's at one of those corners. It's the double left-hander that, and it's the second one. It's the second of the 2 left-handers, and that is one of the nightmare corners again. So there we have it. think all in all, I think Karting King's car being stuck there has caused problems, and it's led to problems, basically. I'm sure there's going to be a few tickets put in, etc, etc. But all in all, guys, back on track since before the new year and that, since before Christmas, and some new guys joining as well. I mean, all in all, I think it's been a pretty decent race. It's just been spoiled a bit by that car getting stuck there, and we've lost Fatal. Oh, I was trying to get down to someone that was near him, but I can't. Oh, goodness me. No, I don't even know where he is now. Okay, he's been cleared in a way. Who else we got in a moment? Twiglet is pretty close still to the back of Lismore. And Hunter and X11 are pretty close. So I'll bring lap 25, I'll bring the penalties up, but I think they're all 3 seconds in a way, but we'll double check that. Lap 25. And then I'll keep them up to the end then. Just to note, the Junkie Emperor made an extra stop there and his nips onto soft tyres. And Lycorius has done the same with his nips onto medium tyres. So, let's see, Twiglet's just falling back a bit. Let's go to the other battle then. This is Hunter on the back of X11. This is for the final podium position, but X11 in front of us here is one of the drivers with the extra penalty, and that no matter how many times you drive around this track, that car is going to just make you take a breath every single time you go around there. And we've got a spinner. I think that spinner was Chris, who's in P17 currently, so he's technically the last at the moment of the still runners. Like a bobsled team, still runners. So Hunter this time, is he going to get a look? Put it up, and he is going to be alongside. He actually gets ahead. He's actually a full car length ahead before they brake for the corner, and takes that, well, retakes that position back into a podium spot on track. See, as we know, he was there in a way due to the penalty, and that is across the line now to start lap 25. So as I said, let's get the penalties up. So it's 3 seconds for Whoopi. Okay, X11's actually got 5 seconds. 3 seconds for the Gooner and 3 seconds for Twiglet. So all 3 seconds apart from X11, who's got the 5. And Massey continuing to drop back. Then we go to 2.5. He's his full proper race debut really in the league, and he's looking surefire to pick up a podium in 2nd place. So I don't think Massey's going to be too unhappy with his performance. He will, as long as he's with us throughout the season, he will be up there picking up podiums throughout. And I'm sure he will pick up his fair share of race wins as well. Just not going to worry too much about one race, but looks like the switch to mediums for Whoopi has worked. And say, I think he was in the race the other night when Hunter did the soft to medium strategy. So yeah, I think he was. So I think he probably saw that and took note of it. As X11 gets past Hunter. Hunter, you really don't need to fight this on track, buddy. You really can just dawdle around in his DRS. I just wouldn't be risking it. And the only way I risk wanting to get back ahead on track, the only way I particularly worry about it, is if the car behind me was catching me. So if Chip Ram was catching and I genuinely thought he might get within striking distance before the end of the race, then I would look to make the move. But otherwise, I would just happily sit behind and not worry about the driver pulling out 5 seconds as that bloody car appears again. We've got another one materialising. Mr. Indy is onto the back of Ronaldo. Sweet, it's still on the back of Lewis Moore. So, just take a quick look at the tyres here. This is both of them actually on 14 lap hard tyres. So, no tyre difference at all. Looks like at the moment, looks like Ronaldo's just about got the enough there to stay ahead. It's the crucial part of the track, isn't it? For the overtake, because it's here that you need to be sticking with the driver ahead and staying close enough so that when you come out onto the straight, you're close enough to actually make the move. Oh, wouldn't you believe it? Missed one further up. Oh, something's happened to Lungus. He has recovered. And he is going again. He's in P8. He's dropped a couple. It's a yellow flag ahead of us. And I think that is Chris. There's a back marker at the moment. That won't be something I'll be able to say through the rest of the season. Chris is a back marker. That was something I definitely couldn't say last season, and I'm positive I won't be saying it throughout the rest of this season. So, just to note at the front, the gap is beginning to drop. So, it's 4.5 seconds now. It was over 6 seconds. So that, well, surely that is a sign that the mediums are beginning to go and really starting to fall off. Oh, hello, Dagooner. I didn't even know he was there. Dagooner was there as well. He's got 6 seconds. He's added another 3 seconds on. So he's got 6 now, Dagooner. There we go. So, well, throughout the earlier part of the lap, the gap at the front has remained stable, so really is looking now like it's going to be. Do you know, it genuinely may just be one lap. It may be one more lap that Massey would have needed to be able to, because the gap is really coming down. There's no doubt about it. Whoopi's tyres are absolutely spent now. It's not. Yeah, I mean, he's going to run out. He's going to run out of corners, unfortunately. But one more lap. It would have been one more lap. There's no doubt about it. He's gained 8 attempts this lap. He only needs another 7. So, Whoopi's tyres would just be even worse. So, it would have been one more lap for the win for Massey there. Okay, it would have been a win by penalty, but ultimately that is all he would have needed. Just one more lap. He's missed out by half a second, but nevertheless, congratulations to Whoopi, who takes victory in China for the first race of the season. Massey, brilliant P2 on proper debut, I would say. Hunter, P3, Chip Van, P4, X11s in 5, Crisp 6, Belunga 7, Bowden in 8th. De Gooner in the end, P9. Giardino looks like he's going to pick up P10. Lismore, P11. Swiglet, P12. Mr. Indy, who has managed to get past Ronaldo, is going to finish P13. Ronaldo, 14. Then, a bit further back down the field, we've got Lycorius. He's going to finish the first race of the season in 15th. Junkie Emperor 16 and Chris in 17. It's not a league where people start shouting and fighting with each other in Discord, so I don't think that's going to happen for a second. But if there is anybody that's a bit annoyed, and just things went wrong with the lobby, unfortunately. Yeah, well, I know, mate. The amount of time you lost in the last 2 laps. One more lap, and he definitely had you, but because of the penalty. But yeah, you got to speak to Lance. How does Lance make him last? He's done. Lance just didn't seem to drop off particularly, and he did 2 more laps on his than you. So makes you wonder. Chris, that was hard. Oh, rear wing damage on lap 1. Then side pad damage on... Oh dear. Hopefully, Chris, it's one of your... It's I said earlier on, it's we all have bad luck as drivers. We all get the bad luck races, and of course they're always the ones that stick in your mind, and you tend to think it happens a lot more often than it actually does. But you know, it all tends to level itself out through the season normally, I think. So hopefully that's one of your bad luck ones out the way. And Chunky Emperor, by the way, took the fastest lap. So there's our standings. Let me just go to the race director and just scroll through the incidents just in case they're needed. There's not actually very many of them. There was the drive-through penalty that the Gooner got. X11 wasn't happy when he saw we got a 5-second penalty after nipping for a wee, but I think the Gooner would be more upset having picked up a drive-through because of it. Yeah, ultimately, with what happened to Carson King's car and the safety car around that, I think it's Lance is like Checo. He is. Very impressed with his ability to look after the tyres. Yeah, I think what happened to Carson King's car and that safety car at that point, I think, has put a bit of a dampener on the race. But actually, overall, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good race. I'm going to be honest, it's a good start to the season. When you consider it's the first race back after Christmas, New Year, and everybody's maybe a little bit, a little bit rusty maybe. I think that was a pretty good race. I think we're set for it. We're going to have a lovely drivers' battle. And I don't think it's just between Whoopi and Massey. I think the Gooner would normally be more up there. That drive-through's obviously hurting tonight. And he's normally going to be up there. I think Cialdino would normally be up there as well. So, and there's plenty of drivers nipping at the heels of Whoopi and Massey as well if they were to make mistakes. So, yeah, I don't think for a second it's just going to be down to you two. I think it can open up a lot more than that, and I hope it does. In a way, yeah, as I said, I enjoyed the race. There was plenty of overtakes, plenty of battling and clean battling going on. It was just had a little bit of a dampener because of what happened to that car, but there we have it. That's nobody's fault in the lobby. That's the EA service for you. Nothing many of us can do. I'm glad in a way that we actually managed to get to the end of the race, because I honestly thought that was going to be the end of the race at that point. So, in a way, guys, thank you as always to everybody that's watched along with me and kept me company as well. And thank you to everybody that watches the stream back at a later point. I really appreciate it, as do all the leagues that I do the commentary for. In terms of myself, when am I next live? Well, I think it must be Tuesday for WAOF1 as they kick their season off. So another season opener. to look forward to on Tuesday night, with a great field of drivers again. So please come and join us for that, and that'll be at 8 o'clock. So only difference between this league and WAF1, WAF1 do full qualifying, 50% race. So that's the only difference. They'll be doing full qualifying. But yeah, see you Tuesday. Please do come and join. It's going to be a fantastic race. So see you then. Good night. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and have a safe week at work.